So now it is my turn. My turn to talk to all of you seniors for the very last time before you leave the Learning Center and before you become alumni. I know that each of you has worked for 13 or 14 years to get to this point, studying, taking tests and exams, practicing all of the reading and writing. But there was one man who wrote a book, and the book is entitled Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. Means, did you guys just waste your time staying here for so many years working? Did you learn everything in kindergarten? I don't think so. But I think what's important is that you have gotten to this point. I do understand what the author means. I understand the intent of this book. There are some lessons that we learn as children that we should keep with us and hold with us through our entire adult life. And that is the reason I love children's books. I love all types of books. But I really adore children's books. And that's because there really are some important life lessons to learn from them. That's also why every year I choose a particular children's book, and I give that as a gift to all of you seniors. This year, the book I've chosen for you is entitled Journey. You might be wondering why I picked this. And the reason is, life is a journey. And you start your journey today. That's your next big step. Once you leave here and you're off in the world, you're starting your journey. Let me tell you a little bit about the book. First, just so you know, there are no words in this book. It is only told through pictures. And I really like it about it. I like that about the book. And it doesn't make it any less significant. The story is about a little girl with nothing to do. She's bored, so she runs to her mother and finds that her mother is busy. Her father, he too is busy, and so is her sister and brother. Frustrated, little girl goes and sulks in her room. But then she stops and thinks. She realizes she doesn't have to depend on everyone else in her family to keep her busy and to create things. She can do it herself. She finds a red marker in her room. She picks up that marker and realizes that if she draws a door, that door will open. She steps through that door and finds herself in a beautiful forest. Just a canopy of light surrounding her. Now, seniors know that there is no red marker that you can find to make life easier for you. However, the lesson in that book is very important. Because of the many lessons in the book, the first is don't wait for anybody to do anything for you. Take the initiative yourself. You have to take action for your own life. That's an important lesson to keep with you. But I think the most important lesson from this book is to remember other people and think about the other people in your life. Think about how you treat other people in whatever you do. Be kind, be good. And so in this story, the little girl realizes she can draw anything she wants. She draws a boat and sets sail. She draws a hot air balloon and floats through the sky. She has a wonderful time doing all of this. But then she saw a bird. And this poor bird was in a cage. It was stuck. It could not fly. She saw that this bird was very sad and wanted to escape. She also saw two guards standing outside of the cage, making sure that bird couldn't fly away. So this little girl decided, no, I have the ability to do whatever I want. I can go to faraway lands, but instead, I'm going to help this bird. So she runs to the cage and helps that bird be set free. In the process, she drops her marker. It's fallen way down below where this cage is hanging very high. And the guards actually catch the girl and put her in the cage. And now she's stuck with no way out. What do you think happened? The bird was so thankful for being set free that he flew down, picked up the marker, and gave it to the little girl. The girl was able to escape with the bird. And that's the other lesson I want you to remember. If you are kind to people, if you are helpful and good to others, most of the time, others will be kind, helpful, and good to you. You get whatever you give. Now, I'm not going to tell you how the story ends. You're going to have to look at the book and find out for yourselves. Or for anybody else in our audience, if you want to know, you can ask our seniors. But I will tell you the last lesson, and I think truly the most important, is friendship. Friendships and relationships are so important. All of you are sitting there today together, ready to graduate, and you're with friends. Some of you have known each other for so many years, and you've seen each other through good times and bad, through fun and the difficult. And you should cherish that, because that is the most important thing in life. Continue to stay in contact with each other. Don't lose the friendships you forged while you were here. Also, remain open to new friendships and new people on your journey in life. Welcome new people into your life. And be ready for those relationships. Because whatever you do, wherever you go from here, it's important. Understand what you do important after you leave. What you do is important after you leave, but how you do is more important. So I want to say congratulations and best of luck. And remember, we are still your family, so please come back often. Thank you so much. Next, I would like to invite Judy Jacobs to the stage, our Director of Education here at the Learning Center.
I would like to invite one of our graduates, Bianca. Bianca, would you please come up to stage to introduce our crested commencement speaker today? Hello, everyone. Hello. I am thrilled to introduce our commencement speaker for the class of 2014, Heather Harker. I'd like to tell you a little bit about who Heather Harker is. Currently, she works as the Director of Consulting and Executive Transitions at Third Sector, New England. Heather is a teaching fellow, was a teaching fellow at Harvard University's Kennedy School of Government and received an award for teaching excellence while she was there. Heather is also the Assistant Director of the Kennedy Commission of the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, the Kentucky Commission. Heather received her bachelor's degree in international relations from Brown University and a master's in public administration from Harvard University. I am thrilled to introduce Heather today. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Hello, everybody, and special thanks to you, Bianca, for the warm welcome. I remember meeting you when you were a very young girl, and it's amazing to see you here on graduation day. It's an honor for me to be part of such a special day, so thank you. And hello, greetings to everyone. Thinking about graduation and trying to tie in some of Judy Vreeland's comments about life's journey. My talk today is going to focus on the Learning Center's mission statement and the core values of character, competence, and community, otherwise known as the 3 C's here, and how these 3 C's become an essential foundation for your life going forward. Speaking of character, I just had the opportunity to tour the Philippines with a group of deaf delegates. I spent 3 weeks in the deaf community over there and realized I needed to strengthen my character. I don't know if you recall, last November there were 2 earthquakes in the Philippine area as well as a typhoon, which was very destructive and devastating to the coastline of the Philippines. Many people lost their homes, electrical power was out for 6 months. You name it, life was very difficult over there for locals and for Americans to journey across the world and see this firsthand was a challenge. Now we had a group of folks that went to the Philippines to try and support the deaf community locally there. How we in the United States could partner with local deaf community service agencies in the Philippines. We arrived in the evening and it was very, very hot. Electrical power was only provided through gas generators, and I'm trying to facilitate a meeting under dim light in the tropical heat. And lo and behold, 35 deaf people in a room with a single light bulb, the light went out. You know, my American way of thinking is, well, we have to cancel the meeting's over, we're going to have to do this in the daylight tomorrow morning. However, the local deaf folks were much more used to the lack of electricity, and they all whipped out their smartphones and illuminated the room by turning on the lights on their phones. There was no expectation of rescheduling the meeting. So 35 deaf people huddled in close around iPhone illumination, and we got our opportunity to speak one at a time, to make ourselves known. The lack of electricity did not matter to the local folks. So for me, this was a life lesson. Part of my character was to give up a little easily, walk away, pick it up another time. However, the character of the locals in the Philippines, the deaf community in the Philippines, they're much more resilient. And that has an impact on how they lead their lives going forward. It's a character, part of their foundation is what led to that resiliency. So I had to take a close look at myself in the mirror. Is that how I want my character to be defined? So if I get to come back home and experience a difficult meeting here in the United States, I take that new piece of character with me and I persevere. Moving on to competence and competency, I've been fortunate to visit many schools for the deaf around the country, and the Learning Center has a golden reputation for being an all-inclusive community. All deaf students are welcome, and all deaf students have valuable contributions to make, and it is very true that core value stands out about the Learning Center. And that core value should be carried over beyond the Learning Center community. You each have something valuable to contribute to the world. And your competency is figuring out what that contribution will be. You know, I think about the various ages that you'll go through, you know, being a young adult, 24 years old, 35 years old, 60 years old. Each of those contributions may look a little bit different. And each one of those contributions has something to teach one another. So you, as young adults, need to figure out what it is your competence can contribute to the neighborhood and world around you. And then lastly, community, the third of the 3 C's. And basically, love is the foundation of your community. If you welcome people into your lives and you have a sense of community, you'll get much further in life. If you remain isolated and separate from the community around you, you won't have as much success. And when we say community, we're talking about equality amongst gender, amongst race. If you are an exclusive community, then your chances of success are less so. So you need to embrace diversity as part of your community. And I look at the Learning Center as being a very welcoming and diverse community. I wish I had that experience when I was a young girl. We didn't have that sense of pride in the community when I was a young girl in school. So clearly you have character, clearly you have confidence, and without a doubt, you have a sense of community here that you value. I wish you all the very best of luck going forward on your life's journey, and please remember when you face adversity and you need to make a choice, rely on those 3 C's as a foundation for decisions going forward throughout your lives. Congratulations, best of luck.